Welcome to the US Pro Road Championships. Weekend started out Thursday with the time trial, 34 kilometers, had 9 U-turns, and of course, with all those U-turns, it had to be raining. Here's a quick picture of the course. We did 3 circuits each, so we went off in waves. Daniel was the first to go in wave number 1, followed by Sean. Look at that position. And Brett were both in the second wave, and then I was in the third of the 4 waves to go off. I started out with the visor on my air helmet and had to ditch that right away. It was raining pretty hard, so it fogged up. Yeah, the U-turns, it was sketchy in the rain, as you can see. I rode really well. I actually surprised myself. I finished 18th. I've always struggled putting out power on the TT bike, but I was glad I was put it together for a nice time and a good finish. The next day was the Pro Criterium. I didn't run my GoPro for this because it was supposed to rain and like a crazy storm was rolling in, and of course it cleared up and we only rode in the wet for about 3 or 4 laps. The plan was to set Scott up for the finish. Him and Dennis, both riding really well, are good crit guys, so we did everything we could. The course was really fast, so nothing got away. The break maybe stayed away for a lap or 2, but it came down to a field sprint and we delivered Scott to 10th. Finally, on to the road race. The road race was on Sunday, so we had a rest day Saturday. Really hard course. Basically plays out like a crit, it feels like.
3, 2, 1,
With the course this tight, you know it's going to be selective when it's that tight and technical. And the start was a kilometer from the base of Sharon Road, which is the big climb that we went up. Each lap was just under 13 Ks long, clipping off 18-minute loops. A total of 15 laps to make up 120 miles. So definitely a long day. It was really hot, and there's also a chance of storms again. This is the run into the climb. You can see we're only 2 minutes in and everyone's fighting for position, and it's just a mess coming out of these turns trying to get to the hill. And of course I was at the back, so that was awful to start the day off, and I wasn't feeling super hot. I just didn't have that great of legs. I don't know if, because I felt really good in the time trial and the crit, and I don't know if the rest day in between kind of threw me off, but it wasn't that great of a day for me. And on a course like this, you need everything you've got just to make it to the finish line alone, let alone actually be racing for the Stars and Stripes jersey. Here's the segment, 11%, and it's so narrow. It's like going up a cart path. It's only like a 2.5 minute effort each lap, but it just beats you down. It's so steep. There's no momentum. It seems like you're just grinding. Standing doesn't help, and being at the back, I knew it was gonna be a rough first lap because it's hardly a climb you can even start at the front and sag your way, maybe to mid-pack or to the back, but it's just so steep. You can see it's already 15%. We just started, so, and with that left-hand turn at the base of the climb, it just zaps your momentum. You just have nothing coming into this thing. You can see the road, it's pretty narrow too, so it's not like you can just blast by people when it's kind of bunched up like this. There's not really anywhere to go, and to move up you have to use so much power just to get a couple feet ahead. Heart rate's already well into threshold, pushing 175. Lap 1, nothing like it. Showing you guys the full length of the climb, what it's like each lap, and 15 times up this is just brutal. I don't know who came up with this, but I mean, it's a true champion's course. The guy who wins at the end of the day is definitely the strongest and deserves every bit of that jersey. I mean, you can see I'm doing almost 500 watts and not moving up, that's for sure. Just kind of staying in place and trying to hit this crest. It's nice, there's this little flat spot right here, flattish I guess, so you can kind of ease off just for a couple seconds, but doesn't help your heart rate when it's pinned. finally were to the top. And believe it or not, I was already off the back in a small group at this point, because it's just, the hill gets so strung out, and the minute somebody opens up a gap, 5 seconds on the hill turns into 30 seconds once you get off the hill. And the descent's pretty tricky here. It's really tight, technical, before it pops out onto this main road and opens up. And it's just single file. You can kind of see around these turns that there's some gaps opening up. Luckily it didn't rain while I was in the race, because this course would have this descent would have been pretty tricky. It's super fast. Right here, it's fear the beard. The beard's coming into play on the super tuck, hitting almost 60 miles an hour. UHC guy doing a little jump. And coming off the descent, you make this left-hand turn, and this takes you through the feed zone. And this part's brutal. You're coming onto this highway where it opens up right here, and you can see here's the gap. We're way off the back, but we all knew we'd catch on eventually. But every lap going through the feed zone's so tough, because everyone's trying to make up positioning and spots coming out of the climb before you hop onto this highway where you just go out and back on this dead-end highway. So my heart rate's pinned still, 182, and this is the only time to really rest. But I knew I didn't have the legs of the day, so I didn't want to just ride around and be pack fill, so I radioed in that it'd be a short day for me, and I would just give it all I had to try to make the breakaway and kind of get a head start on the hill each time, if not make something stick and ride around for a few laps, and maybe ride into better legs after warming up. But this course, like I said, it's just relentless. You can see it's just single file. Everyone is so antsy too. People are just going left and right off the front. It was my teammate, Scott. And people were just giving nobody a leash. Last year, a group of 3 made it off the front, and they kind of rode around for a few laps before being caught. And I think this year a lot of guys wanted to be a part of that initial break. But here I am, just following some moves, trying to get into something. I bridged up. I think I went in 2 or 3 different moves or attacks this first lap, which was dumb for sure. You can see I'm at 190 heart rate. Here I'm off the front with the first internet bank guy coming off of the finishing hill, coming into the finishing line. I rarely see 190 heart rate throughout the year. I'll maybe hit it once or twice, and right now I'm hitting it non-stop, and this is only 18 minutes into the first of 15 laps. This first internet bank guy and we kind of just rolled around. At this point, the damage has already been done. We've kind of fried ourselves, so we might as well try to make it at least to the base of the hill and get somewhat of a head start on the group. I knew I didn't have the legs. There's a small group in front of us that we were both trying to bridge up to. You can see him just around the corner up there, and he takes off and goes to it, and I'm like, nope, not for me, not today. Starting the climb first was nice, because then you can kind of sag it and make your way to the back without fully killing yourself, because you went into the hill first. So that's what I did this lap, just sagged my way all the way to the back. Literally went into the climb first and was almost last. Back to the front, groups all together, trying to get in moves. We're just going ape the whole time, single file. And it stinks too, because with this part being so aggressive, this is usually the only spot that you can kind of recover from the hill. With it being wide, you don't have to worry about positioning. It's easy to get to the front, but it was single file mostly. People just trying to get in that break. And here I go again. This is not how to race a one-day race if you actually think you can win, but just giving it a go. Giving everything I had. I knew I was a ticking time bomb out there. Got a few different gaps. Spent some time off the front, but nothing serious. I don't think anything really lasted more than a lap or 2 off the front for these first couple laps, just with everyone being so antsy. Got caught just before. Here's that finishing kicker before the line. And what makes this hill so hard is it's not that terrible. It's only a I don't know, 200 or 300 meters long and fairly steep. But what stinks about this hill is you're close to the start-finish line, which means you're only a K from the base of the main climb on the course. So it's kind of just like a little leg zapper and keeps everyone on their toes, and everyone's always fighting for position to just get to that hill first. So this really put the sting into the legs. And here we're coming through the start finish. I'm following this EF education rider up to the front. And it's just fanned out across this bridge. And of course, I give it another go. People kind of just let me go on this point, and I knew I was, the writing was on the wall, I knew I was about done here. But I figured if I could just maybe get over the hill by myself and they could catch me on that open highway section, I'd have a chance to make it a few more laps. But the team rode really well, everyone was aggressive for the first couple laps. And my heart rate's already 190 and I'm just getting to the hill, so you know it's gonna be a pretty rough time up this hill. Here I remember looking back and seeing, I think I saw Joey Roscoff and a EF education rider with Larry Warbass as well. They were all just attacking, and it was single file, and I was like, oh god. Here comes the end of my day when the World Tour guys are starting to string it out. And there they go. I just swing wide. I am cooked. This lap, I literally went from having like a 20-meter gap at the base of the climb to by the top, I was well off the back and I was just done. After this hill, just catching people that were all dangling off, and once you're off on this course, you're never getting back on. It was a fun day though. I think only 18 people finished out of 127 starters, which just tells you how brutal it was. We had Scott, he was 24th, so definitely a respectable ride. But people are just getting pulled left and right. I spent the rest of my day right here on this party corner on the climb and watched the rest of the race unfold. And the dude with the American flag right there, that's actually our host, Jimmy Dean. Second year staying with him, and he's a great guy. And he's pretty enthusiastic. He's definitely a super fan. And here's that party corner. Ended up hanging out with a bunch of other riders. Pretty much any rider that got dropped ended up here, so it was kind of fun to watch the race unfold and drink some beer. They also had a big screen TV outside that you could watch the race unfold before they got to the hill. So that was my 2018 US Pro Road Nats experience. See you guys next time.